it's top of
Oh,
the
you're
and we're
live.
live.
Hello, hello. Happy Halloween.
Right? Isn't it
Yeah.
true that haven't you guys heard that over like Halloween is supposedly the veil is the thinnest? We're supposed to be able to connect. Have you had any experience with that? Or do you feel
Is
like
it everyday Halloween when you work with entities?
Everyday Halloween, right?
that's true? Yeah, I guess that's true. I think maybe back before was doing talk to the entities though. I think there was maybe it was just because people were willing to just like dress up
Yes.
and get weird and be weird. Yeah.
I think it's also more like of an American thing then. Like, so I'm from Europe, and in Europe we do Halloween in school, like, you dress up and stuff like that, but it's not like this totally like streets full of stuff and things. So I think it's more like an American, like the Americans make that work really well, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's all about the free candy over here.
All about the
Indeed.
free candy. Yeah.
So I'd love to know, like, hey, Catherine, how did you get into talk to the entities?
Oh, talk to the entities. So, it always caught my attention, like the whole conversation around entities and what they are, and what they are, and what it invites us to explore. One of the biggest things that I got from the Talk to the Entities classes is, back when I was a younger girl, with awareness of entities that nobody ever talked to me about, I was always scared. Like they always scared me. And at nighttime, I would often feel like the fingers in my hair, like things playing in my hair at nighttime. And I was so freaked out. And I would just curl up in the middle of my bed, like thinking nothing will be able to reach me if I just go in the middle. And I never talked to anybody about it because I knew that it was different and I didn't want to be the only one. So I felt like if I never talked about it, then I just couldn't be made wrong. So just talking about it was one of the biggest things, and actually taking a class where people talk about it. And then you realize you're not the only one, that there is this awareness of entities and beings without bodies that is actually kind of more prevalent and normal than I ever would have thought.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Do
Yeah,
you guys hear,
yeah.
do you ladies hear that music also in the background, or is it
I
only me?
do. I don't know what that
Where's
is.
it coming from?
It's
It's
the
I'm
piano.
at an
Oh,
event,
it is
so it's
really
an
there.
it's in the
Okay,
back.
good. Okay, good. Okay. I was like, something's
Wait,
still
it's
like
the
running
ghosts.
somewhere.
The ghosts are playing music. If you hear
Cool.
it.
I started going through my phone. I was like, okay. So how did you get into all of this, like Venus? How did you get into entity work, talk to the entities?
Wow. Well, I actually became a clairvoyant medium pretty much overnight when I turned 30. And it was long before I found access consciousness. And I didn't know what to do with it. Like, I spent 3 years resisting it because I was like, nope, don't want to be the crazy lady. Nope, don't want to be that weird. Don't want to be that different. I was teased a lot when I was a kid. So I was like, yeah, no, I don't need to be teased. I don't need, one more thing for people to judge me over.
Can I
And
ask you a
then I
question?
discovered, yeah, please.
How did you know? Like, how did it show up for you in the beginning?
Great question. So I was taking a Reiki class and I was practicing on my then fiance, and a, a spirit walked in the room and I could see him. I couldn't hear him, but I could see them. And the first one I saw, I was like, this is kind of weird, but there's a being now in the room. And my fiance was pretty open-minded and excited, and he was like, oh, that's cool, tell me about him. So I was like, well, he's tall, thin, sunken eyes, plaid shirt. And he goes, I know exactly who that is. And I'm like, great. Who is he? He's like, he was a ranch hand on my ranch when I was a kid. And I'm like, great. Is he still alive? He's like, no, he's dead. I'm like, fantastic. I'm a medium. Yeah, and I was not happy about that. I was like, really, you gave me, I don't, university gave me this gift, take it back. Like, I don't want it.
Ah.
So,
So
yeah.
so what showed up for you when you were resisting it? Like
Uh,
pain
yeah,
in
I
your
mean, it just,
body?
I think, yeah, it just felt like I was always bombarded. But like a tool we have in Access Consciousness is lowering your walls and barriers. I always thought to protect yourself, you put your walls and barriers up. So I was always just like walls up. Like it was just, yeah, it was just uncomfortable. And about 3 years in, I started to get like really depressed. And I was like, okay, I think this is somehow correlated, but I didn't really know how it was correlated. But I was like, I think I'm supposed to really like accept this gift and this capacity, um, because I'm miserable. so
Mm.
so I just was like, I surrender. I did some, I went and did a vision quest and some other things because I didn't have access tools. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit, allow myself to be that. And it's funny, as soon as I said that, I accept this gift or this capacity, like I stopped being at the effect of it. I
Yeah.
stopped being depressed. I stopped feeling like, I was going crazy. I stopped, yeah. So
Yeah, that's really cool. Being at the effect of it. I know for me too before, um, so I talked about when I was a kid, but then, as I grew up in my 20s and early 30s before I came across these tools, I was often thought suicidal things like I just want to kill myself now. And it didn't match. Like I was, I really liked my life, but I would always think this. And then I'm like, what? Like, where is this even? But then I would fall into that again. And the conversation, the awareness of when you're resisting awareness or entities, it just gets your attention in the weirdest ways.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny. I'm actually at an event right now, and I've been talking to a lot of people, and they've been asking me, well, what do you do? And the easiest way I talk to people who aren't in Access Consciousness is I just say I'm a psychic medium, and they're like, wow. And a lot of people are like, I feel like I have some sort of capacity, and I'm like, I'm literally telling everybody that says that, everybody is aware of entities, right? But they just don't realize that they are, or that's what they're aware of. So it's pretty cool to have people just randomly going, yeah, I think there's something there for me. So,
That's
what
cool.
about
What
you,
about you,
Yasodhara?
Yaso?
Yeah.
Oh, me. Well, I think like it started already like when I was little with like my grandma would come visit me, and like my mom was always pretty cool with it, like because of that, like I was just seeing that lady in the middle of the night and I could describe her dress and stuff like that. And then that passed, and I didn't put any attention on any of it for like many, many years. And then it started showing up after I did my first foundation class. I was at a friend's place and I could like it was as if I couldn't sit on a place where like we were just having dinner, and I was like, it's as if like somebody else is sitting here, which is weird because nobody else is sitting here. And then he thought it was like somebody, and then it just blurred out of my mind. I was like, no, I like did somebody die here? And I was like, why am I saying that? Because like it just came out. And I think
Right.
that's a lot with like how I've seen awareness of entities coming out, where I just will say something and I'm like, oh, am I saying this? This is not good. And then somebody would say like, no, it's exactly what's going on. I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. So now where do we go with this? So that was because I had no idea. I'd not taken any entity classes. I just had the clearing, and I like, honestly, I was just like, yeah, well, we could try this out. And then it actually didn't work, because what she wanted was not to actually move out just like that. She was like lost and looking for a family, but it was also brand new that I could just like I was just asking questions. And then first of all, I thought I was going crazy, because like I was like, okay, like it's pretty clear, but like this is like I think I'm going bananas. But then she gave me all kind of information about the house, which was very interesting, because it used to be her house, of course, because it was somebody who had lived there. And so I was like, I can pretty easily check that with the new owner, who is my friend, and I don't have to tell him about that. So I started to check things, and then like, well, after like 2 minutes, I just got like, okay, I might be bananas, but this is not banana. This is actually what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's actually the thing where I'm often with entities. It's like when you just keep asking questions,
Mhm.
like it's usually easily confirmed, and that's still like an amazing part of like where we don't get that like taught, so it stands so far from us, seemingly, but not
Right.
really. And so now at the moment I'm in Africa, for example, and yesterday I went to visit it, like no 2 days ago I went to visit like a tribe, and so they have this entire mountain where only the elders live and no one else can come there. No one else can come there. So they will have like
Wow.
special like ways how to get food up there and stuff like that. So that's all, but no one has been there. And so when I came there, I was like, wow, there is so much like that is still like held and kept and like kind of honored there that we don't know anymore. And so they also really are clear like that let not let like don't let man come here to destroy whatever we have, although we would look at it and be like, whatever you have is not that much because look at us what we all have and you don't have that. So it's been a very interesting journey actually, walking through the bush and like being here, and also like creating with people here and looking at what we can contribute and see like, okay, how can you honor from where they function, contribute to that, not take over, um, but also like the massive amounts of spirits that I was aware of there that were mainly there to keep the earth, and that was actually amazing because the earth looked so good. It like that part, like the trees, you could just look at it. It was like massive amounts of kilometers and kilometers and kilometers of like greenery that was thriving.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I
That,
knew
that's
I knew they're taking care of it. It was so clear. They're energetically just taking care of the earth still.
that's so cool. Yeah, you said something that I think is really important for people to get, because when I first became aware of entities, I just thought I was supposed to clear them all the time. Like this, I'm just supposed to like basically be a cleaning crew for entities, and then I, with access consciousness and the tools of talk to the entities, realized, oh wait, some of them still want to. They don't want to be cleared. They want to keep taking care of the land, or they have somebody they want to communicate with, or they want to be a contribution. So that's been really cool too, just realizing that they're just like people. That they have
Yeah.
different asks, or um, different jobs, I guess, or different tasks.
Yeah.
So,
And I think the
Yeah.
main thing is like it doesn't have, what if it doesn't have to be wooey wooey, but it can actually be very concrete. And I think that's mainly also when people die around us. It
right,
can be so kind also to yourself to not have to ban that out, but also to them, like
right,
what if there would be this correlation that can keep going in different ways, if that's if it's a possibility, maybe it's not, maybe with some entities they just go and it's done, but then if it's not, what if you would actually give it a chance?
yeah,
Yeah. That's so cool. What I really love that each one of you touched on too is how empowering these tools are. Like, Venus talked when you were at the effect of it and what you were feeling, and Yaso too. Um, like how empowering they are. And to have these conversations now with like younger people or kids, with my kids, I just talked with my son a couple weeks ago about going over to his granny's house. He loved going over to granny's house. And then all of a sudden one day he didn't want to go. And I'm like, or he wanted to go, but he didn't want to stay overnight. And I'm like, how come you don't want to stay overnight? Like it was just something a little bit off. He's never refused that before. And as soon as I asked that question, I'm like, oh, it's entities. And and I wanted him though to say, like I just kept asking him questions and he kind of kept avoiding me. And I'm like, well, is there ghosts there? And he looked at me, he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm sure I saw the closet door move when I was there the last time and it really made him uncomfortable. And I'm like, well, did you know you don't have to be scared of them? And I just asked him that, he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, like, what if they just want to say hi to you? What if they're just so happy that there's kids there, and they just want to say hi to you and they don't have to be scary. And so I did an entity clearing with him and then I told him, like, just say hi to them. And I'm like, and I also empowered him to let me know, like if it really was too uncomfortable, that I would come and pick him up. But I never got a phone call, never got a text. I'm like, oh, it must be good. So the next day when I saw him, I was like, so did you see the ghosts again? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, did you say hi to them? He's like, yep. And then it was just like, it didn't bother, you know? So where he wanted to avoid something in his life because of what he was aware of, just having these conversations in these schools just allowed him to not be at the effective. So cool. I was so happy to have that
Wow, but I
information
love
to
how
share.
basic you made it also. Like, you know, if you encounter this, just say hi. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to do a lot of sessions and stuff, especially with kids. I've done it a
Yeah.
lot too, and they're so clear usually with their awareness because nobody puts words to it, so it becomes really complicated. And I think that's like we pretend like, oh, this is like so woo new age. Often people will be like, oh my God, it's so different. But that's basically where, like, being here in Africa, like, it's part of what the tradition used to be, where we used to share those threats or experiences, or like, with the next generation. So there didn't have to be all of that. So wow, I love how you made that so simple and how that instantaneously changed the experience.
Yeah, and that's just a really good point. Just remembering that it's not as difficult as we want to make it, and
Maybe that's our
yeah.
favorite tool. Have you
Yeah.
said hi?
Yeah.
Have you
Hi.
said
Just say
hi?
hi to
Yeah,
them.
just say hi. I love that.
You can
That's
do it in any
awesome.
kind of way. You can say hi. You can be like, hey,
Yo, yo, what
what's
up?
up? Why are you hiding in my closet? It's like, yeah. What if it could be fun? Like, seriously, what if it could be fun? And
Yeah.
also, like, I think if people are watching this, like, one of the things I love, like, you don't, like, if you have questions in your pocket, you don't have to see or know or actually be aware of anything. Because, like, maybe you'll have kids around that are aware of stuff and you're like, oh, I don't know how to deal with this. And then what if you can just ask them questions and not need to be responsible, but actually responsibilize. Do you say that? Responsible?
I like
Better?
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
responsibilize them.
Yeah, and one thing I have learned about entities too is they just want to be acknowledged. Like a lot of them have been walking around trying to get somebody's attention, and nobody can see them or feel them, or everybody's ignoring them. And I mean, like if you were being ignored by everyone and everything, wouldn't you be excited if somebody could see you or perceive you and say hi to you? You'd be like, oh my God, somebody just said hi to me. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Any closing
Yeah.
thoughts? Any other gems of wisdom you ladies would like to add today?
Just say hi.
Just say
Yeah,
hi. I
just say
love
hi.
it. I love
I
it.
love the
Yeah,
slogan. Just say
that's a
hi.
great tool for the day. So, well, thank you, ladies. This has been really
Thank you
fun. I
so
really
much.
appreciate
Thank you
you.
too. So
Bye,
good.
everyone. Thanks for
Thank you,
Bye
everyone.
listening.
bye.
Bye. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.